Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Upgrade to the home of your dreams with Manny and Courtney from CMK Construction. CMK Construction is Tampa's award-winning kitchen and bath leader for over 20 years. Right now, save $3,000 on a new kitchen and $2,000 on a new bathroom. And take advantage of our no money down and no interest financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build.
Time, weather, and
How you doing, everybody? I'm Chief Meteorologist Dennis Phillips. Heat, still the hot topic of weather conversation, right? Just smashed the previous record for rainfall in Tampa. It's still a very nice day. We've got some clouds out there, even a couple of sprinkles as another front rolls through the area. Most of us wake up to sunshine and then very warm temperatures in the afternoon. Our temperatures, they're going up and they're staying up. Really nice forecast, especially if you're planning on going to the beach or the pool. Rain chances very slim. Another beautiful day in store. It's going to bring us a very high chance of storms. Some isolated showers across the area. Mother Nature likes to remind us that it isn't set by a calendar. We're always on it for you just in case things begin to pop.
Streaming from the ABC Action Weather Center in Studio A. This is Dennis Phillips Live Plus. Sponsored by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Wednesday night edition of DPL Plus news sponsor, so that's pretty awesome. We're going to be doing a lot of new things over the next couple of weeks. But we are here with Nadeen. You guys know Nadeen. She's been here. How long have you been here now?
November will be 2 years.
Has it been that long?
I know, isn't it exciting?
Holy cow.
Another hurricane season.
Yeah, well, and so what we're going to do today is we're gonna give you guys an overview of what's happening right now since there's some weather to talk about.
Definitely.
It's winding down. And then what are you going to be talking about?
Yeah, we have a special town hall coming up. I've covered a lot of things about insurance, but then after last hurricane season, we realized that a lot of people were felt like their insurance didn't come through for them. I mean, essentially left high and dry. I mean, there are probably spots in their coverage they didn't realize, oh, I didn't thought I need flood insurance. And a lot of people really felt like insurance wasn't coming through for them. So that is why we are going to put together a little town hall where you can ask insurance leaders, hey, what do I need to make sure I have in my policy and in my coverage? So we'll talk a little bit about the town hall. This time last week, Dennis, I had only 9 people registered. We're now up to 30, which is good. Nice. So we have a full audience. So that's why I asked Dennis, can I come on DPL and invite more people to be a part of our live audience? Still, we have about 10 tickets left, so you can still come out. But really, we want our entire viewers to ask the questions, and that's going to lead the conversation.
So are they here in person or is it virtual?
It'll be all in person at Forest Hills Presbyterian Church. Forest Hills was a neighborhood that was hit pretty hard because they were all flooded because there was a failure in city infrastructure. They're not in a flood zone, so nobody had flood insurance there, and then they were left essentially with nothing. And we talked about how flood insurance was so important after last hurricane season. And so how do you know what coverage do you need, and how do you know if there's gaps? How much is your insurance deductible? If you even want to just, share your frustrations on why rates are so high to begin with. A lot of people just did not understand, like even hurricane deductibles, even understanding why is there a separate deductible for hurricanes and why are they so expensive? So those are the questions we want to answer because we don't want people to be caught off guard or left with nothing this year.
And there's some interesting questions about that. We're going to get into what's happening right now in just a second. But I remember, and I found this fascinating because there were some policies that the deductible kicked in when it was a named storm.
Oh, yeah.
There were some deductibles that kicked in if it was a hurricane. But here's the crazy part about it. So a lot of times they would base it on the last advisory that was going on in the Hurricane Center, right? So let's say the 5 o'clock advisory, this is crazy. Say the 5 o'clock advisory came in and it was still a hurricane. By 6 o'clock, we knew the maximum winds were below hurricane force. We knew there was no hurricane winds happening, but because it had not officially changed yet, they kept it as it being a hurricane and having to fill that deductible as opposed to a lower one.
Even if it was a tropical storm when it hit you, you'll still have to pay that hurricane deductible.
Yep.
And people got slammed with that last year. A viewer emailed us in trying to explain that, and that's exactly the point of this town hall. What were the common mistakes that we learned from viewers, and how can we make sure that you understand it? And technically, Dennis, the moment the storm has a path, you can't make changes to your policy, and a lot of times they can go ahead and just say, you got to pay the hurricane deductible. Even, I think it was Debbie. Debbie was a tropical storm, and I think it elevated to a hurricane, and that's when, but it didn't hit us as a hurricane. It hit us as a tropical storm, but he still had to pay the hurricane deductible. And you know, a lot of people feel like insurance is set up as a scam, and the folks on the insurance side say, well, you know, it's just you don't understand your policy. And I'm going to be honest, on my car insurance and my renter's insurance, I'm not reading through everything, and so we just want to make sure we have you guys covered and look at the common mistakes, because we don't want you guys to be left with nothing again. And so many people were left with nothing, and I bet you the comments are already saying that. So
yeah, and we're going to be touching on that coming up in a minute. Let's go ahead and jump into what's happening, because there is some weather going on out there right now. Bridget, how goes it? Anna Maria, good to see you. Mary in Lellman, nice to see you. Asham, used to be Emily. I'm not sure how I changed to Asham, but how's it going, Asham? Lynn in Spring Hill. Dave, how are you? Bridget. Kathy, Dominique from Newport Richie, Ormond Beach is in the house saying hey to Nadine as well. Hagen, nice to see you. Melbourne. So we got folks from the East Coast coming over too. Hudson and Rain. Jay's fired up about that. Kathy, good to see you. Lori. So as always, big audience. And you know, if you guys have not been following closely lately, we are going to be going on broadcast starting July 1 on DPL. And it's going to be an interesting time, because we're still going to be here, we're still going to be on Facebook, we're still going to be on our streaming platform, but this button right here, this button is what scares me, because this button is going to allow me or force me to go into commercial breaks. So there will be commercial breaks on broadcast TV, as there are.
They really dumbed it down for you, though. You just have to press a button. You should see the control room. It's probably several buttons, but Dennis has to press one button.
But what I have to do is that button activates the commercial break, and then, so when we're on a commercial break, we'll be talking still on Crosstalk, and we'll be doing our thing. But then I got to keep an eye on when the countdown comes back out of the commercial break, because I'm not going to have a producer. This is all-inclusive stuff. So I got to find out when that time frame comes back, so it goes to 0, and then we're back on broadcast, but we've still been on and everything else.
Will you see the countdown clock somewhere?
I better.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I got no idea when we're going to be coming out of commercial break. That starts on July 1st. So at the very least, if you like looking at the whole train wreck mentality, that might very well be what my show is like on July 1st.
Get the behind the scenes look a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be scary.
But it's good you're preparing your DPLers now, because it might feel like the conversations will be like interrupted right away, and then you'll jump back into it.
Yep.
And
they laugh. They get the whole behind-the-scenes stuff. They know what it's like to have me frantically running around. Jill, thank you very much. All stars go to Children's Miracle Network. Appreciate it. Very kind. All right, let's go ahead and Karen says, we love Nadine.
Oh,
so there you go. Mark, the Rays are tied 1-1. Thank you for the update, and good to see you. Donna from Cali, checking on her daughter in St. Pete. Wow, what part of Cali are you from, Donna? And downtown St. Pete, Ann's in the house with some rain. All right, let's go ahead and take a look real quick at what's happening out here right now.
There's a lot of rain.
Yeah, there's the heavy rain that's now moving offshore, and then it's called stratiform rain, which it's like when you get heavy rain and then after it moves through, it just kind of hangs out and you get light to moderate rain that lingers for an hour or two. That's what's going on back from West Chase all the way over to Temple Terrace, downtown Tampa. All of this right there, you can see. I'm going to go ahead and take this out of this mode so I can zoom around a little bit. All right, so by the way, it's funny because Greg D is, he's the guy who's very regimented, very formatted in his shows.
I love Greg.
And I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy. And I was telling Greg how I was running my shows. I don't put it in play mode. I just kind of like move around, and he looked at me with total disdain. Are you kidding? I said, Greg, I've not had my show mode in 15 years. And he was literally beside himself with it. So that allows me to do this, like move around and do this kind of stuff. And you can still see all the rain that's going on across our inland counties. The heaviest stuff is now moving offshore of Pinellas. And boy, Anna Maria mentioned it, and she is right. So if you look at this area right here, they really did not get much rain out of this. In fact, watch this. I'm going to go ahead and move the last
At all?
hour.
They were just spared that whole
Yep,
time.
it went right around them. Watch this. So I'm going to loop this and watch what it does. See that? Went right around them. Rain to the north, rain to the south, no rain on top of them. And that, now there are those who call that the Largo bubble. That was not just a Largo thing. That was pretty much from Dunedin, or just south of Dunedin, all the way down to Indian Rocks. But there you go. There's the area of rain that just did not happen across part of Pinellas County. Still some rain across the southern third of Pinellas. The heaviest stuff is offshore. So looking at rainfall totals, and this has been great. I'm going to go ahead and, actually I saved some of these. I'll just go ahead and use them. So you see, just in the last 24 hours, feast or famine. More feast than famine, because outside of Crystal River down to the, the Hernando County border, there's been some really solid rainfall totals. 1, 2, 3, 4 inches of rain. And this is just in the last 24 hours. And look at that area over in Orlando. What did they get?
Oh my
But they got like 5 inches of rain here. Let me look at this.
Yeah,
right
orange.
there. 6.8 inches of rain in just the last 24 hours. So yeah, there's been, and that's typical Florida stuff, right? All right, so there's Pinellas County. There's that little area, but it just did not get any rain. I mean, that's probably over Anna Maria's house based on the fact that she's complaining. There it is, right in that general area, just not much, but still, offshore, that's a new that just popped up in the last hour. Nearly 5 inches of rain has fallen. Oof. That's near Treasure Island, Boca Ciega, St. Pete Beach, south of, I guess, no, it's actually right around Treasure Island. And then Manatee County along the coast, not as much. Inland, about 3 to 4 inches of rain. Temperatures right now, mid to upper 70s. After rain-cooled skies, we still have a storm at the airport, 76 degrees with east-northeast winds at 9 miles an hour. We were 4 degrees above average this afternoon. We were 3 degrees above average this morning. We hit 94 this afternoon, 78 this morning. There's a radar. It's all moving east to west. Tomorrow, we do it all over again. I don't think quite as widespread as it was today, but whatever rain's lingering out there tonight will be done by about 10 o'clock. We're going to be on, Nadine's in for Wendy this week, and we're on allegedly, supposedly around 11 o'clock, depending on when the Thunder and the Pacers game ends. It does start at 8:30, so it'll probably be over around 11:05, 11:10, so we won't be too late, but we might be 5 or 10 minutes late at 11 tonight. Dry in the morning. Afternoon showers and thunderstorms, and again, it all moves back toward the coast. The models aren't going to know exactly where, but the pattern is similar, so I think we're going to have a kind of the same setup tomorrow that we had today. Now, I do think on Friday, the winds go out of a more southerly direction, so maybe more of a south to north motion, which might mean the coast might not get quite as much. Father's Day weekend is upon us, and I think timing will still be more afternoon and evening, but a little bit less moisture. Some Saharan dust gets a little bit closer. So we'll go from a 60 to 70% coverage down to about maybe 20 or 30%. You can even see that on Friday and Sunday. See how much of the area not picking up rain. Saturday still maybe 40, 50%. It's typical summer stuff with highs in the lower 90s, maybe some mid 90s by the middle of next week. The tropics remain quiet. Yes.
Silent clap from the back.
Yeah, and we'll show that on another map in a second. Look at the long range on that. And there's one of the reasons why. You've got that Saharan dust, that dry air that's going to kind of be moving in, and it's all across the Atlantic right now, and lots of it over Africa. June and July are typically the times when that dust is pretty active, and we don't see as much development in the tropics as we typically do in August.
I have a love-hate relationship with Saharan dust because it
that.
does keep the tropics quiet, but I hate the haze. It always makes my allergies
I was going to ask about
up
that.
and my eyes are watering, but I can't complain about it because that means it's keeping our tropics quiet. So
yeah, it is. And for the boaters tomorrow, look at water temperature now, 87 degrees with southeast winds again at 10 to 15 knots. So as long as we have southeast winds, that rain's going to make it back toward the coast. If you see that more of a southwest, then it'll be like it was 2 days ago with some morning coastal showers pushing to the other direction by later on in the day. 6:33 your sunrise, 8:27 your sunset. There's your beach forecast for tomorrow. A few showers afternoon and evening, but overall the morning will be dry. And there is the 7-day. Coverage 60 to 70% tomorrow, 40 to 50% on Friday, 20 to 30% on Saturday and on Sunday. And I'm going to go ahead and quickly look at the tropics. Since we're talking hurricanes with Nadeen, let's go ahead and look at the tropics. There it is. Nothing expected over the next 7 days. Here's some of the models. This is your friend and mine, not really, the GFS. Again, last year we had 18 named storms. The GFS predicted 462 named storms. That is a fact. So it almost always spins something up, and the majority of the time, and we're talking 97% of the time, it is wrong 10 days out. Models aren't designed to go that far out. They're just not.
You love those.
Yeah, I do. So here's the GFS, and it will spin something up. There it is in the Western Caribbean right there. That's next Monday or Tuesday. Kind of goes across Central America, and then tries to develop in the southwestern Gulf. That could happen. I mean, I'll tell you, that chance maybe is 20%, as opposed to, the folks who were posting all the. By the way, if those posts that were predicted 2 weeks ago that people were posting on social media, it had a Cat 3 hurricane hitting Tampa yesterday. How'd that work out? So anyway, the point is, if you see people posting the GFS out 10 days out, unfollow immediately or ridicule them profusely and then unfollow. There's a look at the long-range GFS. Quiet outside of that. Nothing going on. Here's a look at the U.S. and not a lot going on. I mean, this is summer weather coming up, right? You see that area in the Western Gulf, but outside of that, it's just our typical afternoon and evening storms. So looks pretty good. We'll be back tomorrow with another look, and we'll be tracking storms tomorrow as well. But again, wanted to give the rest of the time to Nadeen here and answer some questions. So if you have any insurance question, well, yeah, you tell folks, because I don't know what you do.
I want to clear up something. I think there's a discussion happening about my Yankees hat that I wear sometimes.
I've not seen the Yankees hat.
Well, I was born in Brooklyn. I'm a proud New Yorican, so I want to clear things up. But when I moved here, I wore my Yankees hat unless the Rays are playing. And then my first hat that I bought for the Rays was a Tropicana Field hat because I love the orange, and I still love the hat. So I just want to clear it up. I'll wear a Yankees hat.
Was that on the comments?
Unless I think Anna Maria and Mark, they were going back and forth. I'm just clearing it up.
Anna Maria is an annoying Yankees fan.
No, she's amazing.
No.
She's also one of my biggest fans.
She's an annoying Yankee fan. I've known Anna Maria for a long time. She gave me the band button.
Oh, that's awesome.
That band
I love
button
that.
is, in fact, you know what? I got to go get the band button. I forgot to get it. So you go ahead and keep talking.
No, I just, but I am a big fan of the Rays, and I love going to a Tampa Bay Rays game. I just want to put that on the record, but I do love the Yankees as well. So just quickly, while he's going to go get the band button. Oh, there it goes. Don't ban me.
No. I got you.
Not yet, at least.
Okay. All right.
So I just want to clear it up. But I was raised in Florida. I moved down here at 2 years old, so I don't think I could really claim myself as a New Yorican or a New Yorker because I don't really fold my pizza, and I was raised in Leesburg, Florida, so I feel like I'm a Florida girl all the way through and through. So yeah, we're having this town hall that's coming up, and before last hurricane season, I was given the insurance beat, and we were in a crisis. We still are kind of in a crisis. A lot of you guys saw your rates go up really high, and you were wondering, why are my rates so high? Why is Citizens now requiring me to get flood insurance? And it really is, it still is pricing people out of paradise. Are you laughing? You're going back to see it?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the comments now.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So then the hurricane season came, and then we realized if your insurance actually came through for you. You probably have never filed a claim, you were paying all these high premiums, and maybe insurance didn't come through for you. And so we want to make sure that you understand intimately what you need in your policy. A lot of people didn't realize that even if you're not in a flood zone, you could still flood. There are parts of our area that have really old water systems that they're trying to revamp, but if their storm generator doesn't kick in and a city pump or a county pump fails and water gets into your home, if that water comes in anywhere from the ground up, you are on the hook for flood insurance. So you could be out in Hudson and nowhere near a lake, and you could be on the hook for flood insurance. So we were talking about the importance of that. Some people are like, how do I afford flood insurance? If you're not in a flood zone, it's rarely cheap. It's like $1,000. So these are the kind of lessons we're going to talk about. And it really is, the whole conversation is going to be led by the viewers, because you're the ones who really faced it and really had questions as to why is my insurance not covering me.
Michael wants to know, what are the renewal rates doing this year, and how are they trending?
So my understanding is they're saying all these new companies are coming into town, and that's drawing competition. We've had 13 new companies that have entered the Florida insurance market, and the more companies that do, the more competition. So rates should be stabilizing. But I need to hear from you guys if you're actually seeing that in your renewals. I know some people have seen it drop, some people have seen it go up. You're probably seeing a lot more Citizens policyholders get dropped because other insurance companies are now taking from Citizens. So they feel, the insurance companies feel, the market is getting better because there's not as many, like, the legislation worked, so there's not as many lawsuits against the insurance companies, and it's really helped them bring down their costs. But on the flip side, some people said, well, now it's harder for me to sue my insurance company if they don't come through for us. And so I think I would still say we're not quite out of this crisis yet. And I am not an expert. I always have to preface that. This is just what I hear from our agents that we talk to and our insurance companies. We're going to have the CEO of the newest insurance company that just entered into Florida's insurance market. He's going to be one of our panelists. And so he can talk about why they decided to invest $30 million and build a new company, and why now is the time to invest in Florida. So the CEO will be on the panel. He was a former Citizens executive, so he'll talk a lot about that. And then if you have Security First Insurance, the chief claims officer for Security First is going to be a panelist as well. And a claims officer can talk about why claims are denied, what you need to know, what kind of gaps you might have in your insurance claim. So I'm really excited about our panelists. And then we have an insurance attorney who obviously is going to speak on behalf of the consumers. And you can only imagine how that conversation is going to go, but I'm excited for it.
So are you going to take live calls or comments or stuff during the show, or is it just going to be people who are there asking questions?
Yeah, so mostly it's going to be our live audience asking questions, which is why we were going to try to solicit you guys to register and get a ticket. Again, we have about 10 left if you want to come. But if you want to get your questions asked, you can post it here. I actually have a paper and pen to get time codes of when you guys commented if you have a question here, or go to abcactionnews.com/insurance. You can connect with me directly to email in your question. We also I went to the Hurricane Expo in St. Pete, and I got questions there too, and a lot of people, and I wanted to talk to you about this too, it was packed full of people wanting to be prepared for hurricane season. I think you have talked about how last year really was a wake-up call for so many people to be ready. And I felt the mental anxiety of the fact that we're back here already, So we got a lot of questions for there, so we'll probably play some viewer-submitted questions, video questions, and then part of our live audience too.
So tell people how they can, what they have to do to be part of the audience.
Yeah, so if you go to abcactionnews.com/insurance, or just abcactionnews.com, and then look at the insurance tab, you'll see a couple of links there already about our town hall. You could click on there, the link is on there, or you can just email me. There's a form, so you can fill out that form and email me directly. Or if you guys are on Facebook right now, just find me on Facebook, send me a message. It's a Eventbrite link, so I can send you the link, and then you can register right there. So just connect with me anywhere, and I can just copy you. Oh yeah, perfect.
No, that's wrong. ABC Action, yeah, I don't know why that did that.
Insurance.
abcactionnews.com/hurricane.
Insurance.
Hurricane insurance?
No, just insurance, yeah. Just insurance, and that'll take us to the landing page, and then you can just tag me if they want to get to my Facebook page.
Let's see, did I spell it right? I think so.
Yeah.
It says it's posting if it's going to let me post. Okay,
Yeah,
there we
there
go.
it is.
So let me click on it and see what happens. So I'm clicking on it.
Yeah.
And then.
So that's our main landing, and on the right, you can see share your insurance story. That's where you can fill out your form and connect me. Yeah, I think we can
Let's
put it
do
up,
it over
right?
here. Yeah. So let's just go ahead, and that way you guys can follow along if you want to. Here, I'm going to go ahead and
You want me to do it?
take that. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take it. So this is what you do.
This will take, all of my insurance stories are here. This is where you can connect with me directly on this page. So you can either email me, or we do take it? Okay, you can either email me, just fill this out here and just say, hey, could I get an invite to the insurance town hall? Or if you click on any of these insurance town hall stories, if you click on it, actually I think this one has the link to register directly, has all the information. Yeah, here it is. So if you go to the Meet the Panelists story, and you scroll down, you can read all about our panelists, you can read their bios, where, when, what time, and then right here, register for the town hall, and it will take you to the Eventbrite link right here. And if you see, well, I don't think it says it, but when I checked last, I had 29 people, and only 40 were invited. So we got about 11 tickets left, which is exciting.
So there you go, guys. You can come in, and it's going to, oh, it's not going to be here. It's
No, it'll be at Forest Hills Presbyterian Church. And actually, that's a church who had trees fall on their roof, and they still haven't gotten their insurance
Where is
payout.
that?
Forest Hills is north of Tampa, right off of Bush Boulevard, so about 15, 20 minutes from here on this station.
Okay.
It's a
So
little
there you go.
neighborhood in Tampa, in the city of Tampa. So
that's how you do it. Now, again, as Nadeen said, she's not a hurricane expert,
No.
but she's asked a lot of questions. And I'm just going to relay some of these questions. If you don't know, that you don't know.
Yeah, and the reason why, like, we know you have questions, so we're bringing you face to face with the experts. So, you know, and at the very least, you can ask your questions and I can try to get them answered for you. And either way, if you guys, you know, have it, I can always send you a message back. So go ahead.
So Vicky's asking, she says, we rent a condo and have renter's insurance, and we have no idea how flood would affect us. We just take our chances. Do renters need flood insurance?
Yes, they do. And this is actually a question that I got from the Hurricane Expo. He was a renter. He had no idea that his renter's insurance didn't cover flood insurance. So now he's looking into renter's flood insurance. And his question was like, where's the information on renter's flood insurance? And that's a great question. I actually don't even know that yet. I can't wait to talk to, you know, your insurance agent will be the person to let you know where you can get it. Usually most flood insurance comes from the National Flood Insurance Program. That's FEMA's flood insurance program. So yes. And my apartment complex actually flooded out. Thankfully, I was up high, on higher ground, and I had no idea. So I'm thinking about getting flood insurance too.
Okay, here we go here. I have to do a ban. I'm seeing a spammer. So MST, I don't even know who the heck you are, but you know what? I'll never will because you're gone. So there you go. So thank you for letting me know on that, Bridget, and whoever else. Yeah, it's people. There is a mob mentality with banning people sometimes. I mean, I'm not going to lie, because you'll get like a bunch of and it's warranted. We only ban people who are either spamming or rude or talk politics. That we don't do politics here, and because it's like ban them, ban them. It's the funniest thing. So anyway, yeah.
That's funny.
What was there's another one? Someone said there's not Nadeen. It was another name.
I hope not.
No, it wasn't you. Anyway, whatever. Okay. So Christina's saying the volume is low. I don't think so, Christina. I think that might be where you're watching, because the with looks pretty solid on my end. But, you know, we can always change it. I mean, maybe, in fact, I will tell you, maybe you're right only because we had to, with our new sponsor today, we had to open up a new thing, and maybe the audio level needs to be a little bit higher. So my question is, if everybody else, do you feel as though that it's, you know, that it's a little, I'm wearing a hoodie because it is cold in the studio, and this is just my gear now.
It's always cold in the studio.
Yeah, this is just my gear. I always wear the hoodie now. Let's see. Let me look. Who else did we see? I guess there was somebody else. All right. So you said flood insurance is needed even if you're a renter.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay.
And that was a tough lesson learned for a lot of people, yeah.
Let's see.
And something we're working on tonight is, you know, the president had said he wants to phase out FEMA by the end of this year. Mm-hmm. And FEMA funds the flood insurance program. So our reporter, Annette Gutierrez, tonight is actually looking into what that would look like if Florida took over basically FEMA responsibilities. You know, how would that impact us? And I'm really interested to see how phasing out FEMA would impact us on the insurance side of things. So that one's going to be one that's developing too.
And that's what Ryan just asked. What happens to flood insurance if FEMA is scrapped?
Yeah, literally that was the question we were talking about before we came out here for DPL. So Annette is working on that right now, and I cannot wait to talk to our panelists about that.
Will she have something tonight on it, or no?
Yeah, she's working on that tonight. Yep.
Oh, okay, so
she's
after
working on
the game.
the impacts of FEMA phasing out, and we were asking about flood insurance. So. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and so again, we have the game tonight. We have the Pacers and the Thunder, 8:30 tip-off-ish. So we might be a little bit. Yeah, see, I could probably next week. I'll make sure the guy who's back here adjusts it up a little bit. It sounds like most people say hear it fine, but there are a few saying that it's low, so that's fine. Yeah. And it also, like I said, is more than likely just because we have some new settings on this. We're in our last minute right here. I'm just trying to see anything else. So let's remind people one more time how to sign up for it. So
abcactionnews.com. Find this article there, and if you scroll down to the article on abcactionnews.com, this is the invite. So you're going to find this article, meet the panelists.
And abcactionnews.com/insurance.
That's right. Thank you.
Okay.
And then we've posted this everywhere, though. So if you guys just poke around on our Facebook pages, Instagram, you'll find the link easy. Or just, you know, find me on Facebook. I'll send it to you. There's our whole panelist. And then here is the registration form to sign up for a ticket on Eventbrite. And just really quick, so you guys can see, we did get some pushback. Someone said, oh, there's no state lawmakers on your panel, and that is a very good point.
Okay, real quick,
Oh, yeah.
streamers, no, we don't have to go, but streamers, we are gone in a few seconds.
yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow night with DPL.
Hope to see you there.
But you're still on. Okay,
Yes,
go back to
okay.
what you were saying.
No, just really quick, we had some people say, why are there no state lawmakers on your panel? Which is a great question. State lawmakers are still in Tallahassee fighting over a budget, and as of right now, it looks like they're voting on the budget on June 16th, the day before our town hall, and nobody wanted to commit. I also feel like nobody really wanted to really take the brunt of it, because state officials after 2022 and all the changes they did on insurance, they have not really addressed it since. They've kind of let the market do its thing, but there's been a lot of frustrations since then. And you know, I've been told, you know, there's only really a handful of state lawmakers who really intimately know insurance. I don't know. I feel like anybody could really answer questions for our viewers, but the legislature has really taken a backseat on insurance the last couple of years, wanting the market to do its thing after all their reforms in 2022. So that is why you don't see any state lawmakers on our panel, but you do have an insurance lobbyist, Lisa Miller. She's a former deputy insurance commissioner. She's probably one of the most well-known people in the insurance field. She also now represents insurance companies and helps shape policy in Tallahassee. So she would be a good one to ask about what is the state doing on insurance.
Well, and again, I'm sure there's a lot of insurance people who don't want to have the crosshairs right on their forehead, because that's kind of what
this is what we're doing.
It's going to be, right?
This is. I would not be surprised, right? I mean, it's pricing a lot of people out, and but there are state lawmakers that will do it. I just know that they're all voting on a budget on the day before, so I don't know. We'll see.
Well, that's exciting. And when again is this?
Tuesday, June 17th. So a week. Less than a week away now, so it'll be.
Will it be streaming?
We are live streaming at 7:30. We'll be also live streaming it. So if you guys can't make it to the audience, this was the point, was to get you guys to come out. But if you can't, please join in on the conversation on our live stream. We'll be live streaming right at 7:30 sharp. No commercial breaks. So this is not on TV. This will be on ABC Action News Plus and online. There will be no commercial breaks, but from 7:30 to 8:30, we're going to try to get in like 20 questions. I kid you not. We're going to try to fit in as many questions as possible. So join along, and we're going to help you make sure that you are covered this hurricane season when it comes to insurance.
Well, if it's a stream, can't it go long too, or is it pretty much locked in on a certain amount of time?
I mean, it could go like a minute or two over. We're just trying to keep it, you know, keep the church. They give it to us all day, and
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, with this show, we go hours sometimes if we want to. So
Yeah,
I mean, so I get it. So it runs 7:30 to
7:30 to 8:30 online, and then if you guys come be a part of the live audience, the doors open at 7 o'clock. But again, you need a ticket to register.
Okay, awesome. And here's one more look at radar. There's what's happening right now. It's still some stratiform rain across most of northern Hillsborough County, most of Pasco, and now most of Hernando County picking up rain too. Nothing severe. This is just good old-fashioned soaking rain. Of course, none for whatever. You know, look, I gotta say one thing. All right, I'm just gonna call them like I see them. The folks who aren't getting rain right there, I think you need to reevaluate your life choices. Because in my opinion, if everybody else is getting rain and you're not, there might be something about your life choices that is keeping that rain away from your area. So maybe if you start acting, you know, I don't know what to say, but
Maybe they did like some kind of tribal dance.
something.
Maybe go play the lottery today.
Something. So I'm just saying. Anyway, hopefully you'll get some of your rain tomorrow. Nadeen, thank you very much for coming.
you.
Kind of exciting on Tuesday. It's going to be a fun event, and I think incredibly informative after last year. There's still so many people who just don't know what to do. I read a couple of comments. People said they own their house outright, and they don't have insurance because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
There's a lot more people doing that these days too, especially like if your hurricane deductible is $25,000 and they're not going to cover anything until it's $25,000 worth of damage. Some people think, why not just save that money?
Yeah.
But then you're really putting yourself at risk there. So
You are.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money.
And I'm excited to see where this goes, because truly it's going to be deterrent on what questions we get. You know, I'm really excited to see. And I want to feel what you guys are feeling. Share your frustrations, voice your concerns. You know, you don't have to have a level of decorum here. If you feel like you're you're being priced out of paradise, tell them that. Like, that is the whole point of this. This is to hear what you have to say and keep me out of it. I want to see it all play out. It'll be fun.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Well, thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Appreciate
Thank you so much.
it.
Thank
As
you, guys.
always, great job. And we will be back tomorrow night on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. See you guys tomorrow.
Good night.